Hey guys, I'm B. I make stuff. This is my podcast, and I'm just happy to be here on this very weird and overcast day here in Vancouver, BC. I am so very much in the spring mood, and by that I mean I only ever want it to be spring. I used to think that I hated spring when I lived in Halifax because spring is the worst season in the world in the Maritimes. It's just truly muddy and gray for 3 months. But here on the West Coast, it is cherry blossom season. I can put my garden stuff outside already. I am bragging, of course. Yes, of course I am. Sorry, East Coasters. Not trying to brag, but I'm definitely bragging. You know, I can go outside without a jacket. That's what I'm wearing today. No jacket. Come on. But it is overcast today. It's kind of gross. I was editing my last video, and I was like, why are you looking outside so much? Why? And it's because we have a crow's nest being built outside, and I find it very distracting because there are two crows who are out right in my view here. They're making some baby crows, and one of them has like white tail feathers, so it feels very magical to me. But you're not here for that. You're here to pass some time pleasantly while you do your activities. I hope you've got your activities, whatever it is. Maybe you're knitting, maybe you're doing your dishes. Whatever it is, I'm happy that you're here with me. Let's talk about what I've been making, because that's why we're here. So, I'll start with finished objects. I used to start with what I've bought or what I've acquired recently, and then what I was working on, then my finished objects. But you know what? No one cares about what you bought. I'm not trying to harsh words at people who have podcasts, but it's just, no one cares. So, we're just going to talk about what I've been making, okay? Let's do that first. So last we left off on the podcast, you saw that I was making this Looski hood. This is the Looski hood by Sachiko and Keely Bergen out of Moon and Turtle. I love both of their designs separately. I love Moon and Turtle as the twins' like together project. What an amazing project. What fantastic designs. I've knit a lot of patterns from there. I've knit this because my buddy was getting into knitting after their top surgery and wanted to like knit the Looski hood or knit a hood, and I was like, knit this hood. It's a great hood, and I'll knit it with you. I've recommended this to so many different friends at this point, and it's a great hood. I knit it with my own hand spun that I spun up to use for this project. It feels kind of like I feel a bit like an Among Us character. I've never played that game. I've only ever seen the critters, but they have like the circle, and I feel like a bit of a android or robot or something. Or maybe like Murderbot a little bit. I don't know what it is, but it's a great hood. I used one skein of Through the Wardrobe Yarn Co's mohair with it, and it has a beautiful halo as well. It is, I think I was a bit, I didn't have a lot of forethought when I made this, or maybe I didn't, I didn't care, but it only gets down to like, oh no, I got fluff on my lip balm now. It only gets down to like 0 degrees in Vancouver. You don't need this. This is not necessary, but I wanted to make it. We had a hood make-along at work that I hosted. It was my first make-along at work, and I had a lot of fun doing it. It was really fun to do. It was like a great time. And yeah, I'm like really grateful. I feel like whenever you try something new at work, it's always like a big swing. You hope it works out. But I was really grateful to people that showed up and hung out with me while I knit hoods with them. So I got 2 more hoods. I finished the My Joe's hood and also the Lot hood. You can see those in my previous podcast, but that's my hood. That's what I was working on. Then, so my first sewn garment of the year, very boring, very basic, but boring and basic, unfortunately, is what you gotta sew because, or maybe not the color. This color has been living all around me. It's very in right now, I guess, but also has been one of my colors for a very long time, and it's this cobalt blue. This is the Philo Toff by Julia Jules. I've got notes. By Julia Schmidt. There's 3 different views to this top. Really solid pattern. It reminds me of the Allwell box top, kind of that it takes over the same part in the wardrobe as the Allwell box top. I like the hem facing, the facing on the sleeves, and the neckline facing as well. I hadn't done that before, so that was really nice. You can see it's all crinkled because I've been wearing it, so it's very functional. I'll be making a few more of these. My sewing skills are truly subpar. I know myself well enough to say that I'm a fantastic knitter, I'm an okay crocheter, and I'm not a great sewist. But I do it anyways because I like to wear things that I've sewn. And this year I really want to do Me Made May. Not in any serious way because I haven't made enough stuff, but I want to be a part of it more. So I have to have some non-knit items that I can wear for Me Made May. So yeah, that's that. The next on my list is I want to make Zoe a, it's not peony, it's a flower name. My buddy Kaya designed the pattern. The petal dress, there we go. Mackenzie made one. I think Claire made one as well. Yes, they definitely did. She definitely did. Yeah. Anyways, I'm getting distracted. Let's talk about my next finished object. Speaking of my friends, this is the Dreamscape cardigan by Erin Guimond. Guimond? We never actually talked about how to pronounce it, but my buddy Erin, you can find them at Picky Femme on Instagram, has kind of been releasing their first patterns after designing patterns, I think for not their whole life, but like a very long time. And so they've partnered with Pom Pom to release patterns that they've been working on for a very long time. And this is the first time that I've knit something by one of my friends. First of all, it was really funny because when I bought the pattern, I saw Erin's last name, which once again is Guimond or Guimond or something like that. And I texted them and I was like, dude, I didn't know what your last name was. Like, we've been friends for a year and I've never ever heard their last name, which is really funny because that's kind of what adulthood is, you know? Like, you're not like, how would I have learned their last name? I guess through email, maybe. Anyways, they learned my last name as well, but it was very funny. So I still don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry, Erin, but anywho, that was funny. So it's my first time knitting a pattern by a friend, and I was a little nervous going into it because I was like, what if I hate it? What if I don't like it? Oh no! Great news, it was a great pattern. Good job, Erin. Of course, obviously it was a good pattern, but it's just one of those things where it's like you don't want to gamble, because I'm not gonna lie if I don't like something, right? That's not who I am. And I love this. I love making this. It's a really, really lovely, it's just really fun. Very potato chippy in the way that you want to do the next thing over and over again. What I've done here looks a lot different than what the pattern actually calls for and tells you how to do, especially on the bottom, because I am unintelligent and also arrogant. And I did not double count my cast on stitches. I think it was 7 or 8 extra stitches on the front that I didn't realize I had until I got to this part, and I was like, why are these bumps not bumping? What's going on here? And it's because I casted on way too many stitches, and then I ended up having to decrease at a faster rate to get to like have the neckline be appropriate. The neck's a bit wide. Erin was worried about that. They were like, hey, I'm worried the neck's gonna be a bit wide when I was making it, and I was like, oh, it'll be fine. And it ended up being a bit wide because I ran out of the blue yarn. So if I had a bit more of the blue yarn, it would have been perfect size, but essentially what this knit was, I found when I was doing it, was I was running really fast and I kept stumbling, but I was still running and I kept stumbling, and Erin was like, just keep going, just keep going. And it was great. It ended up being fine. And so unfortunately what I've learned from this knit is that I can mess up so many times, and being a perfectionist does not matter because this looks cool as hell on me still. So do with that information what you will. I say don't rip it out, don't frog it, just keep going, it'll be fine. That's what I learned from this. That's my life lesson. One other thing to note, I think, is that this pattern calls for a loftier yarn. So I think Erin used Garland, which is the Pom Pom Hobie collab yarn. I'm pretty sure. And that's similar to Snefnug, or not the same, but similar to Snefnug or Drops Air, that kind of thing, like a blown yarn with fibers going through it. I think Garland is a cotton base with fibers, I think. So, but I used some very dense Aran weight yarn that I had, and I held some sport weight double as well, because I am trying desperately to use up what I have in my stash. I did not have anything fuzzy, so I had to pivot and use what I had. So these are all different. The base was a Crux Fibers yarn, rest in peace to my favorite yarn brand, Crux Fibers yarn. The brown is the Crux Fibers, and then the rest of it is just like various toothier yarns that I had lying around. Some fingering held triple, some of the alpaca from the lot hood that I had left over, and some, oh, this is from my, these are colors that are from my Heirloom quilt cardigan that I didn't finish. And they're also Aran weight, but they're not as toothy, they're not very toothy at all. And so mine ended up being a bit like thicker than I think Aran intended, but I like it a lot. It's not too warm, it has the open sides, it's a great pattern. It's just like really fun to make, and we got to wear, like they wore theirs and I wore mine. We went to Fibers West together. Once again, that's in the previous video if you want to watch that, but no pressure. But yeah, very cool. I highly recommend making patterns by your friends. It's fun. Your friends are talented. Mine are. It's great. Life rules. Okay, on to my works in progress. So you might remember from my last video, this thing here, which I just showed you. This is my Heirloom quilt cardigan that I did not finish. I loved the colors, but I ended up using some of them in my Dreamscape cardigan. There we go. But yeah, I didn't finish it, and the comments in my last video were like, oh, just like make it into a pillow, like it's okay. And I was like, dude, I'm not gonna do that. I appreciate the comments. Always love the comments, always love helpful suggestions. I'm not gonna do that. What I am gonna do is sign up for the Heirloom Quilt Vest test knit and make that. So I am much further in my Heirloom Quilt Vest test than I've been in many other things. So here's my Heirloom Quilt Vest. The front half of it anyways. Look at her! Oh, I'm so excited by this. So it's that Ohio Star quilt motif still, and I've got both front panels done. So you might be wondering, B, if you didn't finish the cardigan, what makes you think you're gonna finish the vest? And here's my answer to you, dear viewer. I was a little apprehensive about the cardigan because there's not a lot of shaping, and it looks great on, I don't know, I talk about this every episode, I'm so sorry, I talk about it all the time, but really great on therapy people. I was worried about how it would look on me because there's no shaping. The vest has shaping, really, really good shaping, really thoughtful shaping, fantastic shaping. And so I saw like the test and I was like, the only way that I'm going to finish all of this seaming, which is not my favorite activity in the whole wide world, but has kind of become my favorite activity. I really like seaming now. But at the time I was like, there's no way I'm going to seam all these blocks if I don't have a deadline and a purpose and someone to disappoint if I don't do it. So the only reason that I signed for test knits at this point is if I know that I wouldn't make the garment otherwise. And I really want the finished product. So I've got the finished product. I'm going to make the finished product. I'm going to do it in time. I'm not going to let Catherine down. I'm a part of the group, you know. I can't mess it up. So I think it's important to do it. So the yarns that I've chosen for this project are what I had in my stash. I talked about that before, but I'm trying really hard to stash down. If you watched my previous video, I talked about my goals for this year being to stash down 2,026 grams of yarn. I am not doing well at that. Despite my 2 finished objects here, I've actually gained yarn and gained grams of yarn. I think I'm at 2,207 grams of yarn now. I can fact check myself here one quick sec. 2,209 grams of yarn. That's what I'm at right now. Shoot. And that's all there because I bought yarn at Fibers West. And you know I bought yarn at Fibers. You saw me do that. You know, I said that there. And that's where the yarn comes from. Even though I stashed down 600 grams with that vest and I think 200 with my hood. So I didn't want to buy any new yarn for this project. So what I ended up doing was I've got this, I had the blue yarn that I wanted to make the clematis vest with initially. That's the one that has the buttons from the side. But the way that I was working it for other people, I didn't like, I was a little nervous about it. So I was like, I'm going to wait till I have more information before I make that vest. Instead, I'll use the 600 grams that I have, or the 300 grams I have to make this. So this is a DK weight. It's the British Twist, DK British British DK from, here we go, from Les Garçons. They're out of Montreal. and the color I think is fantastic. I did unfortunately have to buy this green from work. So despite all of my hard work, I did have to buy 100 grams of green from work. It's a great, it looks good, you know? And then the pink is sock yarn that I dyed 4 years ago and I had lying around forever. So it's fingering held double, and so 3 different types of yarn. We've got a BFL and a merino, but it's all working out very well. This pattern is designed for you to use up your scraps, which I think is amazing. I know so many people who have fingering weight scrap yarns. What I was noticing from my like various holding singles DK and holding yarn double, and from the group chat, people who are using holding yarn double seem to be having a hard time getting gauge. I found it really easy to gauge immediately when I had my DK solo. So what I didn't want to do was use my fingering weight as the main color anywhere because I was worried it would bloom too much. So it's only ever going to be the pink Ohio star as opposed to the background because I was worried it would grow too much. And I'm happy with the decision. I think this is going to look really graphic and fun. I'm really, I said this to Catherine, but there's so many patterns out there that are either fun or well designed. But this pattern specifically is so well designed and so fun to make because you kind of do like a square a day. I'm doing size 5 and I'm getting like, yeah, I'm doing about 1.5 a day when I'm working on it. And the testing window was very generous. I'm just really happy all around with the testing progress. There are times when I test people and I'm like, this sucked. I'm never going to test again. But now that I'm doing this test, I'm like, I'm having so much fun. Maybe I'll do more test knits, and I'm not going to do more test knits, I swear. Only ever if James let me test knit, and only maybe if Catherine will. Maybe I should open my heart to more people, of course, but what can you do? Oh, I'm throwing things. So that's what I'm working on now. I'm going to leave it here so you can see it. I'm so proud of it. And I will actually finish it because I never want to commit to something and then not do it right. One thing that I am worried about is the buttons. I'm not sure what buttons to use for these colors. So if you have suggestions, you let me know. I do have a few buttons that I've made, but I don't like how, like, they don't match to me what I want here. I don't know if I want to go with a blue button or maybe a hot pink button would make sense. I don't want a green button. I don't know why, but I don't want a green button. I can't explain it. Just based on vibes. But a hot pink button or a blue button, the button band will be blue itself. We shall see. This is the British Twist DK. It's Henry's Royal Blue is the color. BFL wool. BFL Twist DK. That's the final answer, is BFL Twist DK, okay? Yeah, this yarn, it is not lying when it's twisty. Whenever I'm working with it, it is always twisting on itself. It's a high twist yarn for sure. And I don't think I would work with it again, except if I was doing like cables or something like that, which really requires a high twist, which I assume this is what it's made for, of course. But yeah, it's a nice yarn. It's also a superwash BFL, which I have worked with before. It's what I had, and it's working up great, I'd say. And the green color is it's cilantro from Sweet Georgia, what we had at work. So that's one of my whips. Another whip that I will show you is the Port Cardigan by Ozetta. I have not much to show here. I just have the back triangle done and the front bit. And this is maybe not a super interesting garment to show off because it literally looks gray. But it's actually a green and purple up close. It's really pretty. And I've made a few of her cardigans. I'm making a size smaller because my Traveler's cardigan ended up having so much positive ease that I feel like a baby when I wear it. So this one here has much less positive ease. It's just, yeah, it'll just be hopefully just like a little oversized. But I'm making a size 4, which I never make. So we'll see how that goes. And I have nothing to report here. It's nice yarn. Oh, this is more Le Garçon yarn. And let me find the name of it for you. Okay, so this is Le Garçon Max and Taylor. And it is their British DK. We had this at work and people kept buying it. They would buy it and I'd be like, oh, it's so cute. and there was less and less of this colorway that I really wanted. And one day someone almost bought it and they put it back, and I was like, I can't wash this anymore, so I had to buy it to make a cardigan. And then I felt guilty for buying yarn, so I had to cast on immediately, of course. But yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful yarn. I love the marl. I think it's like a really nice basic that will look great. It's a bit darker than I usually work with, but yeah, I like the marl a lot. I really like the marl. And for this cardigan, I was thinking about, I got these beautiful mother of pearl buttons at a flea market 4 years ago. Whoop. And I will have to only have 5 buttons, or I could do the small ones and have 7 buttons. But I thought they were so pretty, and I think they'll look really beautiful on this yarn. But I'm so happy. I think they're just so pretty. They're just so pretty. Beautiful buttons. Now, my next work in progress, I literally just cast on this morning because I'm going to Montreal for the Florence and the Machine concert with my buddy. I'm so excited. It is, and I wanted a travel project. I feel I needed a break from my Heirloom quilt vest because you can only make so many squares a day. Do you know what I mean? So I've cast on the Sporty Shrug from Jack Slack. This yarn, and I just have the shoulder tape. There's not much to show here, but isn't it so tiny? It looks itty bitty, and that's gonna fit across my back. That's the back panel. I think it'll be really cute. But I wanted something in fingering weight that would take me a long time because I'm only going for a week, but I can knit a skein of fingering weight yarn a week. I'm very brave. I'm very good at it. None of these projects are super usy-uppy of yarn, unfortunately. Hi, buddy. I see you. Elton's here now. And so I am worried for my yarn using up goals this year. That's absolutely the thing that I'm worried about. Especially because I'm doing a lot of like really basic stuff, which I don't normally do. You gonna come up? See the people? You're just hanging out. The last thing I have to show you is 2 swatches that the yarn, oh my god, I'm all over the place at the end here, but the yarn that I'm using for this last project was Crux Fibers again. I don't know how I'm going to replace Crux Fibers in my life, okay? I love their yarn so much. Hey, no picking your toenails, come on. I love their yarn so much, and I use it so often that when I'm out, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I have one more project of yarn of theirs, and then that's it. I'm cooked. I'm not cooked, but I just won't have the yarn I want to do the projects I want to do. I'll have to buy from someone else, I guess. I'll survive. Hey, dude, chill. I just think that there's no one doing fun colors on farm yarn like they were. But I'll survive. I'll survive. I miss Brittany every day. Well, I love Brittany stuff, but I miss Crux Fibers all the time. So the last thing I have to show you is, I know, dude. I know. Hi. 2 swatches, one on a 5mm, one on a 6, with a lot more stitches. It isn't actually that much bigger. And I'm going to be making, I think, the legs jacket by Ozetta with my buddy Laura. I think her and I are going to knit together. I might be doing a road trip across Canada this summer. Might be being the might be word here. And I would love something cozy to wear, like a jacket to wear over everything when I'm driving in the car. In August, of course, I'll need a jacket in August, but I thought that'd be a good goal to have to finish it by August. So I think Elton is saying we're done now. I'm pretty sure he's over it. And so him and I are going to snuggle, I think. I'm probably gonna hop into bed with him for 20 minutes and give him a good cuddle because I'm going away tomorrow. But yes, that's a quick check-in video for you. That's what I've been working on. That's what I'm proud of. And I'll I'll see you soon. I'm working on a vlog. You'll see me. You might see me in Montreal in the vlog. I don't know. We'll see. Thanks for watching as always. This was a shorter one. Sometimes it's a shorter one, you know? Okay, love you. Love you lots. I do mean it. And I'll talk to you later. Bye!